Welcome to a new Monday morning routine. It's Coffee with Strangers with Kelli Lemon.
Hey, it's Kelli, and today I'm headed to Pop's Market downtown to grab coffee with Josh Epperson. Josh is kind of the quintessential Richmond creative. He's a writer and a podcaster, but he also holds down a 9-to-5 and runs a nonprofit. All right, Josh, this is how I start the show off. I cheers everything, so thank you. Do you drink coffee?
I'm on my regular grind. You know, I'll start with a latte. And then maybe some days I'll do an afternoon thing.
Josh, I know you. I really don't know you. So who are you and what do you do in this wonderful city?
I think I'm a creative person, is who I am. Professionally, I'm a writer for an international branding firm. And then I run a nonprofit in Richmond called Feast RVA, a dinner event that is used to raise grants for people doing creative projects in Richmond. And then I actually do a radio show and podcast called Orphaned Stories. Feast is the one of the three that I've been doing for the longest. We're getting up on 5 years when we've been running this organization. I went to an event in New York called the Festival of Ideas. So I found this thing called Brooklyn Feast. And so I saw that, and then I had been talking with a buddy of mine, Johnny Hugel, who, you know, a little bit of a man about town in Richmond as well. He and I had been talking about how can we get people who are of a creative mind and creative mindset, and also, you know, maybe entrepreneurial mindset, and get them like in spaces together more. So I saw this organization in New York, and I was like, we need to do that in the River City. I think that was actually an experiment for us in realizing just how, pardon the pun, how hungry people were for, you know, that kind of energy, that creative, food-oriented sort of energy that Richmond has heavy right now.
Where's home? Where are you from?
Around the DC area.
Okay.
Yeah, so Fairfax County. I went to community college up there for a little bit, got my life right.
Now, you said you came to Richmond for school.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I went to VCU.
On a personal note, do you get to live Richmond?
I've put a lot of work into kind of crafting the life that I have right now.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people talk about work-life balance, right? I'm more into work-life integration. Being a writer, I don't really have to, you know, be at a certain space at a particular time. If I want to write from home, or if I want to go to Larkin's space and, you know, write in a co-working environment or do whatever, I have that flexibility. I've crafted this sort of life pretty intentionally so that I can live Richmond, for sure.
Tell me what your palate's been looking like these days.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of a cocktail. I let the drinks follow the food.
I get it. I get it.
But usually the two are right in line with level of quality. So I'm a big fan of Heritage, big fan of Saison and the Roosevelt. Those are three that like are real staples for me. There's some new places like Sabai, I think is like a really cool like vibe. You know, I just recently went to La Possum. So good. That one is like the most recent to like blow my mind.
Are you an outdoors guy? Do you work out? Are you into that? The James River and the running and the hiking and
walking, I love to do. I bike everywhere. Richmond is slowly getting how to be a cycle-friendly city. And I haven't owned a car in probably like 6 years. I can do all the things that I want to do, all the things that I need to do, all the dates that I want to go on, I can do without owning a vehicle. But one thing I find that when I do drive, I shut myself off to a whole variety of experiences that I would get if I were walking.
Single in Richmond, how do you classify that?
I mean, working out for me. I mean, I feel it.
Are you looking, or are you enjoying dating and being single in this city right now?
You know, it is always impressive to me how many women I meet who are professional, who are doing something that they love, who are just like confident, who are independent. Being single for me in Richmond has been great. I meet a lot of really cool people. Most of the time, I mean, if a relationship doesn't work, I have a new friend, you know, which is great.
You talked a little bit about where you live. You said Randolph community. Why did you choose to live there?
It wasn't really like of all the places in Richmond, Randolph will be the, you know. But I love that neighborhood.
Let's just say you're in LA and someone says, hey, where are you from? And you know, you'd say, well, you know, right now I live in Richmond. If you could give your elevator speech, what would you say? What
I usually set up for someone who doesn't know this area is the complexity of this place. There's a historical complexity. Then there's also, you know, this new hope, you know, kind of coming through the cracks of, you know, what has been an oppressive system in this city. It's this really complicated thing that I think represents really America and our sort of journey that we're struggling through in really micro form in a single geographic area. I think it's complex, it's both interesting. Sometimes I don't like the city as much as I do on other days.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'm totally in love with it and I'm the happiest person to be here.
To hear the rest of my interview with Josh, check out the Coffee with Strangers podcast in your preferred podcast app. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube and get on over to Pops Market. Oh, and coffeewithstrangersrva.com to subscribe to our newsletter. In this week's bonus video, Josh talks about leadership, delegating, and running a nonprofit. That video goes out on Thursday to newsletter subscribers only, so get over to the website and sign up. And keep an eye out for RVA Strangers when that drops on Thursday too. See you soon.